Somebody has left. Vinida Shah. I think she has left the meeting. Okay, so am I audible?
Yes. Shall I?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
When I ask questions, some people are scared and they're leaving the meeting. Okay. Yes, so somebody can try. I explained the meaning of Hare Krishna Mantra long back. No? We discussed multiple times. Nobody knows. Last week also we discussed actually.
Yeah, we should, so that we should be able to serve him. We should pray that we should be able to serve him.
Yes. So what exactly is Hare means and what no Krishna, like there are the three words. Actually, there are three words in Hare Krishna Mantra, right? Hare Krishna and Rama. Only three words are there. So what is our prayer while we are chanting the holy names?
Prabhuji.
Sushil
Hare is
Prabhu.
the.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
Mataji.
Prabhuji. No, no, Prabhuji. Let everyone say,
No,
Prabhuji.
Sushil
no,
Prabhu,
I don't know.
can
I'm
you?
just trying.
Sushil Prabhu, we can ask. Sushil Prabhu, are you able to hear us? So we are asking now, what is the meaning of Hare
Uh-huh.
Krishna Mantra, or while chanting Hare Krishna Mantra, what is our prayer or mood? What is that we are praying?
Yeah, we are actually in the mode of I mean in the mood of as a crying child.
Hmm?
We are asking our mother,
Hmm.
uh, uh, oh Lord, please engage me in your service.
Yes. So what does Hare means?
Hare, Hare means it's energy, Lord, Lord, energy of Lord
Yes,
actually.
exactly. Energy of the Lord. Energy of the Lord is Srimati Radhika, Radharani, right?
Mm.
So we're actually praying. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra is actually a prayer to Srimati Radharani, right? We are asking her that please engage me. So she is actually serving the Lord. She is the supreme servitor of Krishna, right? Foremost servitor, and everybody else is serving under her guidance actually. So there are all other different Lakshmis, and other all the queens. They are all considered as expansions of Krishna, Srimati Radharani, right? So actually, she's the topmost, like she's the head of the service department. You can think like that. Okay, so basically, we are praying to her. She's the energy of the Lord. Please engage us in the service of the Supreme Lord. Right. So this is the prayer actually. So this is something we may not understand in the beginning, and it is not necessary. But essentially, the point is that no, basically we can think in the beginning that no, we are actually praying to the Lord that please save us from this material existence. We can tell like that. But the service of no, we are asking for service means that is very advanced stage. But we can simply understand that no, the we have heard, discussed many times that the living entity's constitutional nature is to serve, right, the Supreme Lord, because the Lord has created so many different varieties of different living entities for actually his pleasure, right? Because the Lord actually is always he's always in the enjoying mood actually. For his pleasure, own pleasure, he has created so many different variegated material worlds and spiritual worlds, and the living entities are all his parts and parcel, right? In Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, no, mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva buddha sanatana manashashtan indriyani prakristani karshati. So mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva buddha sanatana. So all these living entities who are suffering, struggling in the material existence, they are all my part and parcel. Similarly, every living entity in the spiritual world also. Right. So basically, the point is that the living entities, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishna and Nityadas, the constitutional position of living entity is to serve the supreme. That the parts are meant to serve the whole, right? So the living entity can become extremely happy, when they are in the constitutional position. So we have to serve the Lord actually. Devotional service is a practical devotional service. Generally people had like traditionally people think that okay, bhakti is something. No, I have to keep it in my heart. I never have to show anything. It is between me and Lord. Actually, this is also one conception. But actually, the practical we see that the most closest devotees of the Lord, they are constantly serving the Lord. No, if you see anybody like like Ananda Dev, or Balram. Balram actually is always serving Krishna, right? All his friends, Gopas, Gopis, the Devatas, everybody is serving the Lord because He is the master of everybody, right? So it is not just passive. No, bhakti is not a passive activity. Just like many people think. No, like just I like it's just in the heart and in my mind. No. Actually, we have to practically show. No, if just like no, like if a child or a father actually has a the child loves his father, or the father loves his child, then actually there's a practical demonstration of the this thing. Some reciprocation is there, right? There is actually some activity. So similarly, the devotional service is a practical devotional service. So we have to engage in various service. For example, anything can be service. Anything that pleases the Lord can be service to the Lord. So starting with chanting. Chanting is the basic service we can do in the beginning, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? So, but in the chanting also, we are actually requesting for more service. In chanting, like we are asking, no, to please engage me in your service. So that is actually essence of the prayer is actually we are asking for service, because we have lost the service to the Lord. No, we were all serving in the spiritual world without any without any motive, unconditional, with unconditional love. Every living entity was serving the Lord, in the spiritual world. And now we have lost because of our envious nature. We are actually here, and then we are in the illusionary material world, and thinking, trying to falsely enjoy this material world, which actually is a reflection of the spiritual world. just like the just like the tree is reflected in the water, and the fruits in the tree cannot be enjoyed by plucking them from the water, right? The reflection, we can't enjoy the fruit, but actually we are trying in the material world to enjoy, and then this is very not possible. So basically, we are when we understand that no, this is not our constitutional position, and we are the living entities, and we come to know little bit knowledge we are getting, then we are actually praying to the Lord that please, again, give back my service. Please engage me in your service. So this is the no mood and understanding of service. But actually, in the beginning, we can also have a mood, saying that I'm just fallen soul. No, I am suffering in this material world because of the separation from you. So please save me from this material condition. This also can be a mood, and while chanting, I think this can be more appropriate mood in the beginning. But as we make progress in devotional service, we understand more about more about higher principles actually. Then I think we may be able to more appreciate, like for asking for service. At the moment, in the beginning, we may not be really fully able to understand what does this service means and things like that. But in a simple way, service can be anything which is related to the Lord. So serving the Lord and serving the devotees, pure devotees, are all the same, right? You can serve Vaishnavas, right? Because the Lord always, like Krishna says that Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hidaya Cha Jagadidaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Nama. So the Lord actually loves when his devotees are served by his others. So that actually, and then even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has taken the stand that no, he doesn't want, he is not servant. He says that I am not servant of the Lord, but I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, like that. So that is a humble position, right? So basically, serving the Vaishnavas actually is also devotional service, or doing any service to the deity. In a temple, there are so many different services, right? We can cook for the Lord, we can clean the temple, we can decorate the Lord, and so many associated service. Anything you do for service, even a person who brings, even unknowingly somebody carries some items to the temple, right? Like somebody is is not a devotee, is a vegetable vendor. He brings the vegetable to the temple for cooking, right? So even that person is rewarded, because though unknowingly he is doing some service, the Lord actually notes it. So this way, there are so many different services possible. What is the most important service in our mission? Anybody knows? Dash is the essence. Am I audible,
Preaching,
devotees?
preaching.
Yes, preaching is essence. So that is the most important service in our parampara, because that is very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, right? And we are all following Srila Prabhupada's. No, actually, before Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has given instruction, right? Tare dekho tare kaho Krishna Buddha. So basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very much pleased by preaching. Because why preaching is an important service is because just like we are helping the father to to get back his lost children, right? So many of the children are lost in the material world, right? Without any proper knowledge, they are lost in the ignorance, without understanding that what is their real position. They think that there is a body. So these children, if you are when we are preaching to them, we are actually giving an opportunity for them to understand their original constitutional position, and then helping them to connect back, right? So that is why that service Lord likes very much. And we have seen that in Bhagavad Gita many times, right? The shloka na cha tasmat manusheshu kashin me priyakratama, right? Basically, there is nobody who is more dear to me than he who preaches this message to others, right? So preaching is very important. So there are so many services. So basically, we in chanting, while chanting, our mood is, we can be initially thinking that, okay, please save me from this material existence. And the final goal actually is to again get back to our original service in the spiritual world. So that is what actually we are praying. Okay. Did what is any questions are there till now? And if it is not, we'll move back to the topic. Okay, so we'll read this topic today. Somebody can start reading.
Prabhuji, I'll read.
Yes, Mataji, sure.
a protection of Bhakti Latha. Lord Chaitanya pointed out to Rupa Goswami that there was a certain danger to be encountered while watering the root of the devotional plant. After a plant has grown somewhat, an animal may come and either eat it or destroy it. When the green leaves of a plant are eaten by some animal, the plant generally dies. Thus, one has to take precautions so that the plant of devotional service is not disturbed by animals which represent offenses. The most dangerous animal is a mad elephant. For if a mad elephant enters a garden, it causes tremendous damage to plants and trees. An offense to a pure devotee of the Lord is called Vaishnava Aprada, the mad elephant offense. In the discharge of devotional service, an offense to the feet of a pure devotee creates havoc and stops one's advancement. Thus, one has to defend the plant of bhakti by fencing it off properly and taking care not to offend pure devotees. Then the plant of devotional service will be properly protected. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Somebody can continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shall I continue?
Yes, yes.
There are still other factors which can disturb the plant of devotional service. As this plant grows, the weeds of material desires may also grow. When a person advances in devotional service, it is natural that many persons will come to him requesting to become disciples and will offer him some material gains. If one is attracted by a large number of disciples offering material conveniences and forgets his duty as a bona fide spiritual master, the growth of the plant will be impeded. Simply by taking advantage of material conveniences, one may become addicted to enjoying material comforts. Other impediments are to desire liberation or material name and fame by discharging devotional service or to neglect the prohibitions. These prohibitions are mentioned in the authorized scriptures. One should not indulge in illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, or eating meat. Indeed, one should not eat anything other than Krishna Prasadam, food offered to Krishna. These are the restrictions for one who is attempting to advance in devotional service. If one does not follow these principles strictly, there will be a severe disturbance in the discharge of devotional service. Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think anybody else want to read?
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, shall I continue, Prabhu? If
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
yeah, Hare Krishna. If one is not particularly careful by watering the plant of devotional service, one will instead nourish the weeds described above, which will then grow very luxuriantly and hamper one's progress. The idea is that when one waters a garden, not only does the desired plant grow rapidly, but the unwanted plants also grow also. If the gardener does not see these weeds and cut them down, they will overcome and choke the plant of devotion. It is thus the duty of the neophyte devotee to cut down all the weeds that may grow by the watering process of devotional service. If one is careful to guard against the growth of these weeds, the plant of devotion will grow luxuriantly and reach the ultimate goal, Go, Goloka Vrindavana. Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami. Lord Chaitanya explained to Rupa Goswami that in pure devotional service, there can be no desire other than the desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, there is no scope for worshipping any demigod or even any other form of Krishna, nor is there room for indulgence in speculative empiric philosophy or fruitive activities. One should be free from all these contaminations. A devotee should accept only those things that are favorable for keeping his body and soul together and should reject those things that increase the demand of the body. Only the bare necessities of bodily maintenance should be accepted. By making one's bodily necessities secondary, one can primarily devote his time to cultivation of Krishna consciousness through the chanting of the holy names of God. Pure devotional service means engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord. At the present moment, our senses are all designated because the, the body is designated. So we think that our body belongs to particular society or particular country or particular family. In this way, the body is bound by so many designations. Similarly, the senses belong to the body, and when the body is subject to such designations, the senses are also. Thus, one engages the senses on behalf of family, society, nation, and so on. When the senses are so engaged, one cannot cultivate Krishna consciousness. The senses must be purified, and this is possible when one purely understands that he belongs to Krishna and that his life belongs to Krishna. In other words, that is that his identity is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. In this way, one can engage his senses in the service of Lord, and such engagement is called pure devotional service. Extract from Teaching of Lord Chaitanya, Chapter 1. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna, thank you. Suresh Prabhu. Okay, devotees. So we'll actually, we'll note the points and then we'll start discussing as usual. Yeah. So we'll start. You can just please go through it and please note the important points which you find, and then like let me know. I'll start noting it down. Devotees, so as you, if somebody has a point, no, you can let me know as we go.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What are what I mean the some cares we should take while watering the plant of devotional service? Which cares we should take?
Okay, so care is required while watering the devotional service. Okay, that is a big point actually. So we can break down to smaller points. So somebody, different people, different devotees can tell. So that is the overall topic, no, Prabhu?
Yeah, correct, Prabhuji.
So what are the different care, or what are the different aspects? Somebody can tell.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, here we are watering our bhakti or devotion, plant of devotion. While watering, what all happens to safeguard that plant of devotion? There are many things that is happening. One is like Vaishnava Apadar is mentioned, Prabhuji. Rupa Goswami is mentioning here about Vaishnava Aparad, like how
So
an animal destroys the plant or the area of the plants.
okay, Maharaji. One point we'll take at a time. Okay.
Okay,
So
Prabhuji. Hare
Vaishnava
Krishna.
Aparad and she is compared to the animal destroying the plant, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Maharaji. So what is the other point anybody else can tell? Who else we have?
Prabhuji, weeds, Prabhuji.
Okay.
There are two things that grow along with the, if a gardener should take care of two things. One is he should um, not allow any animals to, animals means there's offenses, and
Hmm.
the animals to eat it. And another thing is you should not allow weeds to grow. Weeds means attraction to material things.
Okay. Yes. So this is an important point. So I think we have not too many points. No, overall, if you look, only few points today's topic. But I think each of these topics are very deep. Okay, we'll see that in more detail. Okay. So any more other points are there? So basically, two kinds of attachments are mentioned now. What are the two kinds? Somebody can say, Chitramadi, you can say, or anybody else can say also. They are classified into two categories. And also, aparad also, there are two categories. So, Revati Mataji, you can tell that. Just let me know. There are two classes or two kinds of aparad which is mentioned. No? Two examples or something like that. And
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Here
yes,
it is mentioned as one animal destroying by eating the plants, and other is the mad elephant, that is Vaishnava Aparad. Uh, they have given the mad elephant as the Vaishnava Aparad example, Prabhuji, and another one is animals generally they barge in and they eat the green leaves, and that way the plant dies. That is also there, Prabhuji.
okay, Mataji, yes. Mataji or anybody else would like to add there? What are the two kinds of material attachments which are described? I think it's easy to find. There are two different paragraphs which is mentioned. Krishna, somebody can tell. Anybody can tell actually. Sushil Prabhu, Revati Mataji, Chitra Mataji, anybody,
Yeah,
Indrachand Prabhu, Madhavi Mataji.
no, I thought your others might say Prabhuji. That's why I'm waiting.
Yeah, Chetan Prabhu is also there, no? Yes. Okay. Please, devotees. Okay, otherwise, let us move on. Any other points are there, devotees? What are the other points there?
Last para is there, Prabhuji, where Rupa Goswami is mentioning about the pure devotion service, where there should be no other devotion or desire to advance in Krishna consciousness, or no scope of worshipping other demigods, Prabhuji.
So, what is the point? What do you summarize
That
as a
our
point?
primary devotion should be Krishna.
Pardon me, Mataji. What should I
Hare
write?
Krishna, Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yes, yes, but the point I'm not able to
The
fully clear. No?
our primary desire is to, or primary aspect is Krishna, Prabhuji, Krishna consciousness. Even chanting or doing any devotional service is not for the desire, for any other desire, Prabhuji. Only to aim for Krishna's prema.
Okay. So what else actually? That's all in this big paragraph. Only one point is there.
Actually, it says many things in that, Prabhuji. So, about engaging pure devotional services, how one sends service to the Lord happens, and what happens on part of behalf of the family, society, and everything, how they are getting purified by engaging in pure devotional service, Prabhuji.
Bodily concept we can mention, right?
Yeah.
Bodily concept. What does it mean? Bodily concept of life.
And in Mataji's, the read one which you were asking, to the I mean, two diversions or two different things. One is the four pillars, the four principles, on basis of four principles, and the other one is on discharging devotional service on the name of liberation or fame, Prabhuji.
Okay, good. So what else? Any other points are there? Devotee Sushil Prabhu. Anybody else want to add? Chetan Prabhu, Madhavi Mataji. Anybody has any other points to add? Okay, then no points. I'll ask questions now. First question I will ask somebody who want to take the first question. What were the dangers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that is encountered while watering the root of the devotional plant? Chaitanya Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm outside, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. Sushil Prabhu, would you like to try to answer? What are the dangers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What were the dangers that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encountered while watering the root of the devotional plant?
Yeah, Prabhuji, actually, while watering, uh, while watering the devotional service plant, there are some unwanted weeds also getting grown up. So we have to take care of those as well. That unwanted things are not getting grown along with the Krishna conscious watering. For example, name some material after getting a Krishna consciousness. If he is not fully Krishna conscious and he is, I mean, if he is just preaching, then there could be some material benefits he can get. Uh, so he may get some material benefit like name and fame. Uh, and actually, these are the impediments. These could be the various. This could be very dangerous impediments in the path of devotional service.
This is
So
the second
those.
answer you're telling, no? Prabhu? You're telling the second answer.
Okay. So I'm sorry. What was question? I missed it.
First question is, no, what are the dangers while encountering the watering the root of the plant?
Yeah, dangers. Yeah. So first and foremost is to uh,
You can tell very short answer. We don't have to
yeah,
explain
yeah.
because
So
we'll come to the
yeah,
points
there are
detail.
two dangers I mentioned here. Make I mean from the animals
Hmm.
and the unwanted weeds.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
That's it. Thanks.
yeah.
So other impediments in discharge of devotional service, anybody else can tell? Besides this, only just one word answer or one or two words answer, not a detailed description answer. Chitra Mataji, would you like to try?
Yeah, the four principles, Prabhuji. Not following, this meat eating and intoxication, illicit sex
Okay.
and gambling, indulging in that. That's also an obstacle.
Hmm. Okay. Along with the creeper of bhakti, what else grows?
And the weeds group, Prabhuji.
Weeds.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, next I would ask Revati Mataji, is the body bound by any designations? If so, what? Just a small one line, one sentence answer.
I don't know, Prabhuji. Body is not bound by any designations, Prabhuji.
Okay, but in as per we have to tell as per the matter what we are discussing in that paragraph what is mentioned that we have to tell.
In this, it is mentioned that body is bound by so many designations, Prabhuji.
Yes. So,
Here it is mentioned. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like examples.
We are engaging our senses, Prabhuji, in that is that on behalf of the family, society, nation, our senses engage in many things, no, Prabhuji. That part.
Yes. Yeah. Designation means no. Like for example, I am a teacher. No, I'm a politician.
Mm.
No, I'm Indian. I'm
Yeah,
black.
as
I'm
a
white.
father,
I'm
as a mother.
Tamilian. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm all those things. These are all these are bodily designations.
designations.
Any of
Yes.
this identity, which are it's not really true, right? That's what. Why should one be careful while watering the devotional plant? Who want to try that answer? We don't have anybody else, right? Who can answer? Yeah. So somebody can try who was already answered.
Prabhuji, it won't grow into a healthy plant. If you're not careful, the plant won't grow at all. It'll die at an initial stage only. So we have to be very careful.
Yes. Basically, we have to see that weeds are not taking all the energy, right? So
Mm.
if you don't pull out the weeds, then the devotional plant will not grow because the weeds will take all the nutrients. What are the restrictions for one who is attempting to advance in devotional service?
4 principles, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Material attachments.
Yeah. So now I think let us move on to the points which you let us discuss the points in detail. How do weeds? Okay, we'll come back to this later actually. Okay, so we'll start with Sushil Prabhu. You can just give maybe no, not Sushil Prabhu. Maybe we'll start with Chitra Mataji. Okay, Mataji, you can talk about this topic of weeds in detail.
Prabhuji, anywhere, if you're not careful, when see the seeds are grown, into our mind. That is, the seeds of devotion are put by, our scriptures and by our spiritual master and all that. But when it sprouts, you have to protect it by fencing it properly because of so many things like animals or whatever it is. Now I'm talking about weeds only. So along with plants, healthy plants, unhealthy plants also grow. So if you don't take the cut off at its root only the unhealthy plant, the healthy plant will not grow at all. In fact, it will die. It will take over the healthy plant. So from the beginning itself, you have to cut off the weeds, pull out the weeds. That is, all the offenses, everything that is bad has to be pulled out from the beginning itself. Then only your plant of devotional service will grow healthy.
Yes, Mataji. But now, so this is the symbolic part. Now we have to go into the actual part, right? So what are these weeds really? And how do we understand the weeds? What are the different, with different things which are coming in the path of devotional service, which are considered as weeds?
Prabhuji, all the apradhas, all the anarthas, everything that is coming in your way. Your mind which is not controlled. You should control your mind. You should control everything, Prabhuji. Otherwise, the weeds will grow. The weeds of that means your mind will. First of all, you have to control your mind, because if your mind is not controlled, all the thoughts will enter, and your path to devotion will not be clear. So controlling
Yes.
of the mind is very, very important. Whatever thoughts that are coming into your mind should be, pushed away
Hmm.
by chanting or whichever way, devotional service. Then only the plant will, then only your mind will grow towards devotional service, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji. So I think yeah, that is true, Mataji. In part, but I think in this today's discussion, it is not mentioned. Now, mind is not mentioned explicitly. So today's we have to look into the paragraph, no, and then from that you have to tell the point, Mataji. So it is mentioned clearly. See, offenses are not considered as weeds, right? But only certain things are considered as weeds. Offenses are considered as animals. So in
Yes,
the
yes.
analogy, so
And the
what
weeds
exactly?
are, they say the weeds are the Prabhuji, attraction to material life. People will tempt you with money. People will tempt you with fame. All those things. Those are the weeds that have to be avoided by anyone who's on the path of devotional service. Material attachments. You have to go above the modes of material nature.
Okay, so how can we overcome the situation? Any clue?
Um, by keeping
Material
away, Prabhuji.
attachments.
By taking the mercy of or surrendering to the spiritual master, Prabhuji.
Yes, there are many ways actually. Yeah, that are we from practical perspective, what all things we can do. Because see, this is no, see, this is not purely theoretical. Right? What we're discussing is also practical. How can we really? So because all of us face these problems, when you are trying to practice devotional service, we have the challenges. So how what are things? What we understand? Like, are there some way that actually we can reduce this material attachment, right?
Prabhuji, for practical way, only two things are there as per my thought or whatever I have understood. One is devotees association, and two is spiritual master. Doing the needs or taking the words of spiritual master and us complying it, we will get the mercy of spiritual master. And second thing is, even if we try to fall for our desires, material desires, the association of devotees will pull us back to the bhakti mode. Hare
Okay.
Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Mataji. Others, other devotees, what do you think? What are the different ways that we can? So basically, here there are two parts, right? One actually is one is the material desires, which are actually very gross, and there is also subtle desires actually, right? What a subtle desire is mentioned actually in the next paragraph. Somebody want to tell about it?
Neglect the prohibitions, Prabhuji.
Not Mataji.
I didn't understand your question, Prabhuji. What can you please repeat again, Prabhuji?
Okay, we have in the notes. No, see, basically, the weeds are at material attraction attachments, right? Some attachment that we are having, some anarthas. But actually, there are two types we mentioned. No? One actually is the gross. Yeah, that is true. What actually? So basically, the things which are directly, which is easily observable. And what is second one? That's what I'm asked.
Our liberation, Prabhuji. For liberation, we do anything, any service we do, we start doing in the name of liberation or something, and we end up for fame or we pride, something like that. And then, even though we in the beginning we think that we don't want liberation, after knowing so much, end of the day it comes back to liberation.
Hmm.
If is it
Yes,
what you?
Mataji, that is true. Yeah. So basically, see, some of the attachments are very gross, which actually we can easily understand. But the liberation, I don't know, may not be or each of us may not be able to not necessarily connect with this. No, sometimes we may not have thought about liberation in the past. Actually, we did not even know what is liberation sometimes. But there are many people who are transcendentally so-called no, people who are on the path of spiritual path who actually are seeking for liberation, right? So somebody when somebody may advance in devotional service, but actually later they may get attached to liberation. They may not be really, they may not either they don't understand what is the ultimate destination, or they think that liberation is more important for me, kind of, right? So these are all kind of a trap. The liberation is called the last snare of Maya, right? Because that is the last. See, almost somebody has taken up the transcendental path or spiritual path, but actually he got misled. No, instead of reaching the ultimate destination, he has to settle down for something which is lesser. But once you aim for liberation, and no, let's say even if you are liberated, actually like the impersonal liberation, then no, then actually it takes many millions of years, right? Again to get a chance to become a devotee of the Lord, right?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
So that is why it is very risky actually, to be going after liberation. So and these are very subtle desires. See, actually, many of these anarthas, no, we will not be able to realize that we have it, because we first of all in the beginning we only see the gross problems with us. Like for example, I'm attached to certain things. Like for example, I'm attached to watching movie or anything. Actually, it can be right, some sense gratification, right? So this is very easy to understand. Everybody can really easily relate, but subtle things we may not realize. So we may not be realizing. Like for example, it is mentioned. No, so sometimes when devotees become very advanced, they may be even a brahmachari or a sannyasi. Like it is possible, but actually they may have some subtle desire for some kind of fame. For example, somebody is a very good brahmachari, and then he is a very good preacher. He's able to preach, attract so many people. Everybody is listening to his lecture. So indirectly, so these are all sometimes Maya will play different tricks, right? So sometimes, there are many cases like that. Actually, we may not realize that. Okay, we are attached to that. We will be loving that. Actually, okay, people are appreciating me. So there are so many subscribers are there. Wherever I go and give a class, so many people are like behind me asking questions. So without knowing, like we start taking some Bhakti Vriksha, or no, we do some preaching, some small preaching video, then somebody becomes so unknowingly, there actually some kind of a we get some pride or some fame or some satisfaction actually when others make praise you, then we become little puffed up. So this is very small subtle thing actually we cannot easily understand, right? Even many devotees actually who are in the temple, right, in different position, they also may have some anarthas like this, no, they may not be completely aware, no? They may, somebody may be a president of temple, or somebody may be a department, no, like a pujari, head pujari. So they may actually gradually develop some pride. So these are all actually maya's snare, and then that can cause the person to fall down. That person may be free from other things like gross, he would have already overcome the gross what do you call, gross anarthas, no, like attachment to wealth or attachment to woman. So these kind of things they would have already overcome, but actually these subtle things, no, they can actually trap you. Maya can trap you by giving this. And another way of subtle way of Maya attacking you is that sometimes devotees start finding fault with other devotees, and then they think that okay, there are so many problems among devotees. They are not nice people. They are not giving me respect or whatever. Some reason they will Maya will try to create a situation that you may start thinking, no, like why should I practice with devotees? No, let me go home and individually practice. This is called Nirjana Bhajana. No, there's a book called Vaishnava K, written by Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, and Isolan Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has translated. But there are many other books like that. Manashiksha is there. Many books are written by acharyas on this topic. How dangerous Maya is actually. No, you may not even realize actually that, this is happening to you. Right? You may think that okay, I just want to, because there is so much of politics in the temple. Let me go away. Like that when Prabhupada's time also, many devotees want to, they left actually, thinking that no, I will go in a solitary place. Maybe I will go to Vrindavan, or I will go to a holy dham, and no, let me do Nirjana Bhajana. Means without any other people, I will do solitarily chanting. But actually, this is told. It is told that no, it is one of the biggest traps of Maya. Because once you lose, see, the biggest power of a devotee is association of Vaishnavas. As long as you are in the association of Vaishnavas, when you are in the Sangha, Satsanga, Maya is not powerful to attack you. It's difficult for Maya to attack. But as soon as you become alone, independent, then Maya can easily attack you. Right. So when so many Nirjana Bhajanas, no, like people who do the Nirjana Bhajana has fallen down, right? Because actually they go to a solitary place and then they do all nonsensical things. Their mind will be indulging in all sense gratificatory thought, and also they practically also they do abominable activities, right? And then they completely fall down. So these are all very subtle things, anarthas which we may not realize. These are all weeds, right? Weeds are like any desire actually for material and material any kind of material attachment, whether it is gross, like for example most of us will have gross material attachments, no? For example, attachment to family, attachment to wealth, attachment to your children, whatever it is, attachment to job, or so many attachments actually, right? We have. And then these are gross, which itself is very difficult for us to overcome, right? For example, we are not able to give up some habits. Somebody may be addicted to drinking, no, like tea, coffee, like that are small things actually. It may appear very harmless, but actually nevertheless we are not able to give up that. Right? All no, or just watching the news, watching television, some programs, small things. But actually, we are having so many anarthas like that. These are very easy to see. Anybody can see that okay, this person is having this anartha. But the subtle anarthas are very difficult actually to understand. Everybody may not realize. even you yourself will not understand. Only when we become more advanced, then we only will start seeing our subtle anarthas. Otherwise, we think that I am perfect. There's no problem. I'm not. I don't have any pride. No, I'm very humble. Like that, you may think actually. But actually, but when you become more advanced in devotional service, then actually you start realizing, what there is so many subtle anarthas in you, right? Everybody has some kind of subtle anarthas, which actually some of us may be able to know some of them, but not, but some of them we may not be able to understand that we have that. Right, so these are all, these are the second type of, so both of them are considered as weeds. All these things are considered as weeds, which actually completely drain your spiritual energy, right? So it is like, like pouring ghee to the fire on one side and also pouring water from the other side, right? So yeah, basically it will not have effect. The fire cannot grow. Similarly, the plant will not be able to get nourishment if actually if you cultivate, or if you continue to have all this material anartha. So that's the point actually. So these are very subtle, right? We may not understand. So but as a first step, I think first we should understand we should try to give up our gross anarthas. That is the first step, right? And then once we are able to make progress, then actually we should also watch out for subtle anarthas which we have. Anybody want to share something here? Do you think that do you have any subtle anarthas that you are aware of?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I would like to add one point. I mean, this is my experience actually. When I started chanting and all these things from past 2 years, after some time, I found that those my friends, yeah, my old friends, those who are not in Krishna conscious yet, I, f- I mean, my point of view is now becoming some different towards them actually. So I make duality that I am a Krishna conscious and these guys are not Krishna conscious. So I mean, yeah, instead of getting into such thoughts, the thought should be like that. Still, they are not. I mean, I should be PT. I mean, I should worry that still they are not Krishna consciousness. So I think that should be the mode, right? But
Yes, Prabhu.
we neglect. I mean, we neglect those people now. Earlier we were friend, but as now I am in this path, and those people are still not on those paths. So I would neglect them, and that is not good, I think.
Yeah, it depends, Prabhu, actually. So it's very difficult to say exactly. See, actually, many of the acharyas, right? So they are saying that like our Goswamis of Vrindavan, and many acharyas have told that association with materialistic people, right, or people who are attached to materialist people. Like for example, they say, for example, like attachment to the opposite gender, right, or people who are people who are interested in or people who are interested in attraction to both. Actually, both these are actually they are saying that it is better to, like they are like snakes, or they are compared like to some fire or something. We should avoid them. That's what actually say. So the thing is that it depends actually how, right? When when our faith is weak, when you are not very advanced, then and the people, your friends, if they are not favorable, right, if we can talk to them and find out whether they are interested or not. So if they're interested, we should help them. But if they are not interested, or if they make fun of you or something like that, then we should completely neglect them. Because otherwise what happen, if you try to continue interacting with them, then your faith also will come down. So we should be ready to give association to others as long as we can influence them. But if you think that no, they will influence us, then I think it's better to avoid them. So people who are extremely materialistic people, who are not at all interested in the spiritual topics, it is better to avoid them.
Yeah, that point is correct. But yeah, actually, I could not. Uh, what you say? I could not.
Express.
Explain the point that I wanted to. Your point is correct. That is different point. I would say, but my point was means after just two years of this association in Krishna conscious, I am having a pride that I am a merciful. I got some mercy that I got
Ah,
association of the devotees, but I had some old friends. Those are there, and I'm comparing with them, and I'm finding myself as a merciful. So this is like another, I would say.
yeah, we should not.
So
If you become pride, actually, it is not good.
yeah.
But so the pride, yeah, it depends actually. How we express the things and how we are thinking. So
Mhm.
actually thinking that now I've got mercy of devotees is actually a good thing, because that is what actually we are getting really, right. So we are somehow favored by the devotees, and we are actually fortunate to get association of devotees. That is the right thought. But actually, if you think, if you are thinking becoming proud about it, or becoming puffed up because of that, then actually it is not good. So we should actually think that, okay, like I was also, my friends also, I was also like one of my friends, but because of my association, I can, I got the opportunity to, to make progress in spiritual life, and if possible, we can help them, right? Try to talk to them, give some knowledge. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, correct. Thank you for your.
Okay, Mantaprabhu. Anybody else would like to share anything? The point is clear about the subtle
Hare Krishna
anarthas.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
I think I have it on day-to-day basis, Prabhuji. What not we don't have, Prabhuji. I mean, from speaking with the child, that telling that we know everything, and since we attend the class, as Sushil Prabhu said, I don't know how to express, Prabhuji. But I feel all these pride and things are there to uh, to different extent, Prabhuji. Still, it is. I don't know. It's not. I think it might have been reduced, but still there are many anarthas, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. So
We used to. I used to tend to my son now teach anything, tell anything. I know I'm old enough to tell this. What have you done? We have read so many books. We have been attending so many classes, and all those comparison and everything's are also anarthas, no, Prabhuji.
mhm. Yes, Mataji. See, I actually see people know even after like in Krishna consciousness for 30 years, 40 years, still they are not able to get over the anarthas. Many people. So it is very natural, no, that actually it will take quite some time to completely get free from anarthas. No, first of all, gross anarthas we have to give up the gross habits which are there, and then settle. Right? At least we are able to recognize that we have anarthas, on a subtle level. That itself actually is a great thing. Right? But sometimes we may not even know that we have this anartha. So yeah, but I think the point is that we should understand this example which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about weeds, right, and the animals, right, and then always be watchful about it in our spiritual life. All the time we should keep watch. We should not forget this, and then always we have to watch, because if you are a little bit careless, then Maya will attack us, and then we'll not know how fast we fall down quickly. So that actually is the point, right? It will take, it's a long way, it to become purified. It's not so easy to know that we quickly become perfect and pure, right? We know that there are 9 stages we discussed, right? Starting with Shraddha, right? So Anartha Nivritti stage itself is a very difficult stage to overcome. No, it's very long time. It takes, Anartha Nivritti itself will take many lifetimes if you are not very serious, right? So what to talk? It's not easy because we have been conditioned for so many lifetimes, right? So many lifetimes we have been conditioned. Okay, so is this point clear to everyone? What are the two types of weeds? Two type of anarthas, the gross and the subtle. Anybody has any questions on that? Chitra Mataji, do you have any questions or it's clear?
Clear, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, then I think we can move on to the next one. About the animal example, right? So would you like to explain, Mataji? Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Here are two types. Rupa Goswami has mentioned, Prabhuji. He said that a plant, if we just for the namesake we water and we don't see the insects or the plants which are trying to eat it out, if you're not looking out for them, then the plant dies, eaten by the animals, Prabhuji. We see the sometimes the cows or insects that eat up the plants from then and there itself. How much ever we water, we see some insects that creep in the plants and eat. The another thing is mentioned is about the Vaishnava Aparadha, that is the mad elephant offenses. When an elephant is mad, it just goes on. Whatever that comes in the path, it just tries to destroy it. It doesn't know what it is doing. It just, if it goes into a field, it destroys the entire field. And that is what is called as Vaishnava Aparad. When we ill speak about other Vaishnavas or other devotees, even though we don't know that we are doing some offenses, it automatically pulls us from whatever stage we are to the zero, not even to zero, to say negative stage, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. So we have to understand what is Vaishnava. So we have to go in very detail. This is a very important topic. So what are some examples of Vaishnava?
um, we criticizing about devotees behind their back. ill-treating them and not giving the respect that has to be given, literally in the general sense, backbiting, Prabhuji.
Yeah, many things are there, Mataji. So it can be backbiting or friend biting, both. So basically, trying to belittle somebody, like both are actually offensive. Okay, creating, yeah, disharmony. So of course, if you directly tell a Vaishnava, talk to a Vaishnava in such a way that he becomes sad, or he become, his heart is hurt, then actually that's a direct offense to the Vaishnava, right? It may not be behind the scenes. No, you talk to them, chastise them, or insult, talking in an insulting manner, belittle in front of others, whatever it is. So you do some activity that hurts a Vaishnava. So that is a direct Vaishnava Avarat, right? So in this case, the person devotee is Vaishnava is directly offended actually, and then he is pained. So that actually is directly, it's a very severe offense, that actually the Lord actually will not forgive it. Sometimes, no, even if the devotee forgives, the Lord actually will not forgive that offense. So the other one is, from backbiting or whatever, right? So you talk bad about the Vaishnava, and or talk to, create situation like talking to another devotee bad about another devotee, and then, like, somehow or other it may reach the devotee, even if it doesn't reach the Vaishnava also. Because you're talking ill about the Vaishnava, he is not there, but the Lord as Paramatma is there in our heart, right? He sees everything, every activity that you do. So directly or indirectly, trying to insult a pure devotee, right? Or belittle him or criticizing him, that actually is a Vaishnava Bharat. So generally it is told that, no, in the olden time, the previous yugas, even in the mind actually, if you are not talking to anybody, in the mind also, if you think ill about somebody, you think bad about somebody, that also is considered as an offense in the previous yugas. In the Kali Yuga, it is generally mentioned that the offenses which are committed in the mind are not, not actually fully seriously considered. But after knowing this fact, and still if you commit offense in the mind, then that also becomes an offense. Till now you had a, what you call, concession, but now all of you know that, thinking in mind is also an offense. So after knowing that, we should avoid actually, even thinking in the mind, bad about other Vaishnavas. Okay, so this is very very dangerous actually. Basically you may and when the question would be, then who is a Vaishnava, right? So anybody who chants the holy names of Krishna is a Vaishnava. So we cannot say that, okay, no, he is not a pure devotee, he is just an ordinary devotee, and I can offend him. No, that is not the case. So we should, not what to speak about Vaishnavas. You should not even offend any living entity, right? Even normal people also we should avoid offending, right? But of course, when you offend Vaishnava, then actually the sins are much more severe. So this is very very dangerous, and this can completely destroy all that we have achieved. Right? Some people who are actually extremely elevated devotees, actually they completely fall down by, there is a story of Chitraketu, right? Chitraketu Maharaj actually, because he actually makes fun of Lord Shiva, because they were both sitting together, Shiva and Parvati, with along with sages. So Chitraketu will just ridicule Lord Shiva, right? Actually, Chitraketu and Shiva were actually just like friends; they were buddy kind of thing. So actually, Shiva did not take an offense, but because Parvati took an offense, he had to fall down and become an asura, Vritrasura, right, in the next birth. So this is just one example, but in the practical life, today's, society of devotees, actually during Prabhupada's time, and in even today's world, there are many people who are fallen down completely, who had been very exalted devotees actually, who may be chanting 16 rounds, initiated, doing a lot of service, but because they offended some pure devotee, they completely lost everything. They completely become materialistic actually, and then they give up Krishna consciousness. So this is actually very very dangerous, most dangerous thing in devotion life, because actually that's what this Bhakti Latha actually it is mentioned, right? What is that actually? Brahmanda Brahmide Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Kripa Paye Bhakti Latha Beach, right? So what it means is that after wandering through so many different universes in so many millions of lifetime, right? After so much long time, one finally we are actually getting the seed of devotion service. So you can understand that Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. So he's a very fortunate person who actually gets the seed of devotion service. And after so much of endeavor, so many millions of lifetime, he is getting it. So it is a very delicate plant. Actually, that's why it's called Bhakti Latha. No? They are not saying that it's a tree. It's a tree means it is not easy to destroy it. But actually, it's a creeper. We know, right? Creeper is very fragile. No, it is very easy to, just anybody can just destroy it very without any effort. So our Bhakti Latha is like just like that actually. So it's a very very fragile plant or a creeper which can be easily destroyed if you are not careful. So what something we possessed after so much of effort and endeavor, right? We have to be extremely careful that no, it is not getting destroyed easily. So that is why this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given these instructions that actually how can we prevent? What are the two most important things we should be watching out? Right? One is offenses. Second is material attachments, right? Gross and subtle. So these things actually are completely very dangerous, very very dangerous, and this will not. These are things if you are not careful. If you're not careful, no, then actually we will not even realize that it has come and destroyed our plan. So that is why we have to be very 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 careful here. Okay, so Vaishnava Aparadha is the most dangerous offense actually, which can completely destroy. The story of Ambarish Maharaj is there, no? Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni, right? Because Durvasa Muni was an extremely powerful sage. He could travel, in all the spiritual worlds, by his will. Normally, see, it is not possible. Normal yogis cannot even go, like they can't never go to spiritual world. Only material world, they can go to some other planets actually by yogic siddhis. But Durvasa was so powerful, and so advanced that actually he could travel anywhere by his will, like Narad Muni. But actually, because he offended, Ambarish Maharaj, who was a pure devotee, right? And even Lord was not ready to forgive him. Ambarish Maharaj actually went to Lord Vishnu, right? And he went to everybody, Brahmaji, Shiva, Lord Vishnu. No, Vishnu also told, I can't do anything. Because actually only my devotee can forgive you, right? And then finally he has to go and fell down at the feet of Ambarish Maharaj, right? So this even how much ever you are powerful, right? Whatever spiritually also, but if you offend Vaishnava, then actually then there is no chance for us. No, then completely we are ruined. Okay, so this is very very dangerous actually. So we have to be very very careful. We should give up this attitude of finding fault. So finding fault is also an offense. Just finding fault. For somebody doing something, somebody is preaching, and we are trying to find fault in that person, right? Or see, most of this time we do offense because of envy. Now we may not understand that it is envy. We know that's what. So envy is one very. So it is mentioned that we have this different anarthas, right? Like what is it called? The tatra, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, right? These are the six important vices. So in that it is mentioned that except envy, everything else can be dovetailed to service of the Lord. Okay, because there are examples in scripture that no any other bad quality, anger can be somehow Hanuman has used anger in devotional service, right? And some example like some like gopis, for example, they have used like the lust or love, like kubja is given as an example. So basically, everybody, every other anarthas can somehow be dovetail, but envy is something which actually we cannot dovetail at all. Whatever we do, envy cannot be engaged in service of the Lord. So envy is one of the most dangerous, quality that is actually can be detrimental to bhakti. And because of envy, very subtle. Sometimes we don't. This is a very subtle. We discuss about subtle this thing anartha, right? So envy is extremely subtle anartha that actually we will not be able to figure out that we are having envy. We are envious. Okay, but indirectly, when we make more progress in spiritual life, we understand that we find fault in others because of envy. Okay, because we are envying them, we try to find fault in other. We try to belittle other devotees, or we'll always trying to find some mistakes in others. So that is why we have to be very very careful about Vaishnava Aparadha and being envious. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions are there in Shikshashtaka, right? So if you just follow all the instructions of Shikshashtaka very sincerely, to the fullest extent, then all these things will be automatically taken care. So the offending tendency, can be completely wiped out when you become humble. Right? It is mentioned that Trinadavi Sunichena, Taro Ravi Saishuna, Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Right? So you are very humble and meek, and you are fully tolerant. So even somebody speaks ill of you, we are very tolerant. We don't retaliate. Right? So somebody sometimes you may say that no, because he spoke like that, I also spoke like that, and then it become a fight, and and then you offend the other person. So if we are tolerant, we will not actually reciprocate like that. We will not react in that way. So humility, tolerance, right? Then actually not expecting any respect from any others. So this is very very difficult quality. Not so we should be ready to give respect, all respect to others, and we should not expect any respect from others. So that is actually very very difficult because we are never used to that, right? We always want respect and attention. When you go to some place, you suppose you go to temple and nobody's looking at you, nobody's asking anything, we'll feel very bad, right? Nobody's talking to me, like I'm indirectly in the heart we are feeling, you don't feel it that way, but what is happening is that you are thinking that I am important actually and nobody's paying any attention to me. So like so that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's that particular shloka is very very important. Trinada Visunichana Taro Ravi Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Right. So if you remain in that mood, then actually you cannot offend anybody else. So that actually is very important. Then actually the next part actually is about the subtle desires. That shloka is there. What a na danam na janam na sundarim kavidam jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmaneshware bhavadar bhakti raitu. So basically all these things, no, the material fame, right? It can be na dhanam, the wealth. Na janam means follow. So the janam is a very very subtle kind of attachment, right? So like no, like I already mentioned, right? So I'm a good speaker, and a lot of people attend my program. So this is the look. I am having followers, right? Today we have Facebook or Twitter. We say no, I have so many hundred followers. So the desire to have followers, right? Either it can be, you know, when you are a spiritual master to have disciples, or no, or just a, you know, just a spiritual person or a motivational speaker in spirituality, and you are deciding that I want a lot of followers, right? These are all very subtle desires, anarthas actually, which can actually, you know, which are like weeds, which will hamper our growth. So it is quite, you know, quite what you call alarming, or no, like you may feel that it's quite difficult actually. You know, these are things we did not know sometimes, right? So very subtle things actually, or can also be so much determinant to the progress of devotion service. Okay, I'm talking too much. So is it clear, devotees? Any questions are there about Vaishnava Bharat? Am I audible, devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Right.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay. Revati Mataji, Chitra Mataji is left.
1 second, Prabhuji. I think so. Yes, Prabhuji.
Anymore?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yeah, now you can hear you.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Chitra Mataji is left, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any problem is there, or
No, no, Mataji, I think she's having some housework or something like that, Prabhuji.
some other class 6 o'clock? Any class is there?
I don't think so, Prabhuji. No, I should check with Mataji,
Normally, I think they
Prabhuji.
put message while leaving, before leaving. Maybe some technical issues there, I think.
Should be here. It's a power cut, Prabhuji. There, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, let's see. So I think most of the points we have covered, right? Anything is missed out? So devotees, is it clear, Revati Mataji and Sachil Prabhu? What actually is Vaishnava Bharat? What are the things we should be watch out? Is it completely clear, or any you have any doubts? Because it's a very important topic, no? We have to understand.
It's clear, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah, what I feel sometimes is that to have some knowledge is also some kind of danger. That's what I feel, because after having a higher level of knowledge, uh, it is also not that good. That's what I feel sometimes.
Prabhupada has told many times, no, ignorance is not a excuse. That means the reverse actually. See, you cannot say that I was ignorant and I committed offenses, and no, you will be excused. So it is good that you know it as early as possible, right? See, so that, see, if you, let's say you are ignorant, you did not know it, and then you went on committing many offenses, and just because you did not know, that is not an excuse. You will have to anyway suffer the sinful reactions. So now earlier we know, then the past offenses we can avoid now, right? But otherwise you would have kept on committing offenses, and then all of them would have accumulated, and it would have been not possible to make any progress in devotional life if you had not known it. So that way you should think, it's good only that now at least I came to know, and now I can be very careful. So all these future offenses are now avoided. See, for an ignorant person who is not interested in spiritual life, what you told may be right. No, ignorance is bliss, they call, right? Or fool's paradise, they call, all these things, right? So because anyway you don't have any spiritual goals, it's fine. Maybe it's overall it's good for that person. But people who are serious in spiritual life, for them actually, knowledge is light, and they say no, ignorance is darkness, right? Like that. Maya Andagar, like Krishna Surya Sama,
Hmm.
Maya Andagar, Jaha Krishna Hoy Maya Ranadikar, right? So basically, like wherever there's sun, there is no chance of darkness. And Krishna is considered as sun, and darkness is Maya, right? And wherever there is Krishna, there is no place for Maya, right? So we should try to gain knowledge as early as possible, and then understand accordingly, correct our behavior, so that we can prevent all the offenses which we may commit in the future.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. Yeah. So that should be the point of view, correct? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, anything else? Anybody else has any other topics, questions, doubts? Revati Mataji, is it clear? Everything?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have this thought, Prabhuji. If we doing it for a Vaishnava, a proper devotee or who's into the devotee thing concept, yes, it's an aparadha. Now we are neophytes, we are getting into this, Prabhuji. Now, if a proper devotee or a devotee who's following all these things directly or indirectly is is hurting us, then won't it be an aparat for them, Prabhuji? Or
Uh,
how to
I,
get
I
over
didn't get
this,
Mataji. Can you
Prabhuji?
again tell? I did not understand the
like
question.
and now I am a neophyte, Prabhuji. I'm coming into this. I'm just getting to learn what it is and how these things are, or
Hmm.
about the spirituality, about Lord Krishna. Now the person who's been very much into Krishna consciousness, and the person is practicing Krishna consciousness for many years, and if they hurt a person like me, then is it okay, Prabhuji?
No, I told no. Even if you offend a non-devotee, actually, it is not good. Actually, it's not nice. I mean, see, people in the normal life, right? They actually many of the sinful reactions are because they are actually hurting people, right? So see, basically, you can harm a living entity either physically or mentally, right? So
Mentally.
physically means you can physically abuse, like hit, kick, whatever it is, all those things, no? Causing harm on the body. Other thing is that causing harm to the mind, right? So insulting, talking in a way, harsh way. So if you let's say both of A and B, two people are there, both are not devotees. Even though if they are not devotees, they hurt each other. They will have to take the reactions for that, right?
Okay.
They will have to suffer. So that case itself it is there. So
Okay.
like you are actually, let's say you started doing some, no, you are chanting already Hare Krishna. So according to the definition, you are also considered as a Vaishnava. No, even if you have started chanting holy name, anybody who started chanting holy name is considered as a Vaishnava. So just because I am more senior to you, that doesn't mean that I can offend you, right?
So
So
in Sorry, Prabhuji, to interfere. In that case, my question goes like this. So, if when they have hurted me, for that I feel bad, and I think why the person is not able to understand, since he or she has been into this for so many years. They have
that's what actually
read
we
all
discussed,
these
Mataji.
things.
We discussed before, no? The subtle anarthas are there, right? That actually
Mm,
even after devotees practicing for 30 years, 40 years, I told, no, many
mm,
devotees are not able to overcome the gross anarthas itself. So
mm.
subtle anarthas, they may not even realize that they have some subtle anarthas. They may not be knowing actually they have these problems, but it's subtle anarthas. So they may not realize actually this problem is there.
Yes,
But
Prabhuji, but for that, if I feel bad or if I think wrong about the devotee, again, that is also an aparat that I am taking, no, Prabhuji.
we should not actually, ideally speaking, we should not think. We should just think. See, a nice devotee, what he'll think is that if somebody insults that devotee, he would always think
It's
that everything is the
mistake.
Lord's mercy. The Lord actually wants to teach me something, right?
Mm,
The Lord
mm,
actually has put me in condition so that now I may become a better Vaishnava. For that, he is giving me this test, or no, like that. A nice devotee will always think like that. Any, like we mentioned, right? Pranadavi Sunichana Tarora Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So in the beginning, it is very difficult, but I think when we make progress, when we associate it, see, these kind of qualities will come only when we have association of Vaishnavas. We should interact with devotees who are having in that qualities. When we deal with them, when we interact more, when we spend time with such devotees, then we will also learn automatically those qualities. Otherwise, it is very difficult to practice, develop such qualities artificially. Just by thinking or meditating that tomorrow onwards, no, I'll not think anything bad about anybody. It's very difficult because these are all very strong vasanas that has come to us by many, through many millions of lifetime, right? Many past vasanas are there, very strongly ingrained in our consciousness, which is already past, very difficult. These are called conditioning, right? Condition living entity, we say, because of this past vasanas. So it is not very difficult to overcome these things. Okay, so for that, the practical way of overcoming is actually associating with Vaishnavas, interacting and spending time with Vaishnavas, pure devotees. So by doing that, actually, this will gradually, be able to develop those qualities which other pure devotees have. So here, one more point I want to say is that sometimes, like when somebody is your authority in spirituality, right? For example, somebody is your mentor, or somebody is your shiksha guru, right? Of course, diksha guru. So all these people can chastise, a person who is under is this thing, because otherwise nobody can correct you, right? If you are making mistakes, sometimes actually a shiksha guru, diksha guru, somebody who is your initiating spiritual master, like Prabhupada used to chastise, or many of his disciples. He used to be like very, he used to tell like that, no, you should be like very, like what you call, like you should be strong like a thunderbolt and soft like a flower. Okay, so he was like that actually. So to correct his disciples, sometimes he was very, 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 very angry on them, no, and chastised very heavily. Use so many harsh words, no, and then that person will completely, he'll burn in that. So that, like that, Prabhupada used to that is only one example, but all the spiritual masters, they will chastise their disciples. So similarly, somebody is a shiksha guru, or somebody is your authority, right? Even a temple president, actually, let's say you are working under a temple president, actually, he can chastise you. Uh, right? If it is required, if you feel that if it's a proper authority, he can chastise you, so that the mistakes. Suppose if you do some mistakes, how it is to be corrected. So the different people, different devotees will have different approach of correcting. No, somebody is a very pure Vaishnava, he will not chastise. No, he will do indirectly. He will give lessons, or no, or some no. Like I mean to say, like it depends actually. So it sees the disciple, and based on the kind of disciple, accordingly he'll deal with it. For some
Yes.
disciples, no, chastisement may be necessary because otherwise they may not understand the point. But some other devotees, he may not chastise so much. No, he may just use very soft words. So, but actually, such a people, like for example, a father or mother has a right to chastise his
Mm.
child, right? Because the child is under their protection. Similarly, a spiritual master has the right to chastise his disciple. No, similarly, Shiksha Guru or
Yeah.
somebody who is an authority, who
Yeah.
actually, like as I mentioned, right, temple president or somebody like that, they can also chastise you. So
No,
so
Prabhuji, I was not mentioning about the guru part or the senior. I mean the
no, I'm just
authority
teaching.
part from
Generally,
where
I'm,
we are
I'm
learning.
giving more information than because
Ah.
everything may not be clear, right? So I'm trying to explain
Mm,
more.
mm, mm.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji. What is your specific? Is your
No, it's
question? What?
just a simple senior devotee, Prabhuji. I'm just talking about a senior devotee. That too, like what I was trying to ask you is, so if they do it, and in return, if I think why they are doing this to me, and what did I do to get this, then that is also an offense, right? That is what I'm trying to ask,
Just
Prabhuji.
thinking that way may not be an offense completely. If you try to retaliate or not, try to talk bad about that devotee to many other devotees, or not trying to defame him, that actually becomes an offense. If you're just
Okay.
thinking, if you just felt hurt, actually, because he spoke
Yeah,
like this,
exactly.
that actually may not be a serious offense. I mean, it may not be an offense much, because we see it is not an offense. Okay, but but when we become pure devotees, more advanced, then we will not feel offended also. But that actually is not expected in the beginning. So it's not possible, right? So naturally, if somebody speaks very harsh words, we'll become bad. We feel bad, right? That is natural. But actually, thinking ill or no, thinking bad about them, or I want to take revenge. No, I will do this. I will do that. That actually is not a good mentality. That may be offensive to do things like that.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So see, that's what I see. This the qualities has to come automatically. See, when we make progress in devotional life, automatically all good qualities comes. There's a shloka which I don't remember, like Sarves Gunastatra, something like that goes. They says that for a pure devotee, all the good qualities of devatas are automatically manifested. So that is what the process we have started. No, we are following the devotional service which is given by acharyas. If you just follow them sincerely, right, then actually automatically we will become purified, cleansed by chanting the holy names and by doing devotional service. Right, we become purified. So, but it takes time. At the same time, we should be aware of all these things. The Vaishnava Bharat today we learn, right? It's a very very important topic. We should be completely understanding what does it mean, what are the implications, how can we avoid, how to deal with different situations. So this is an additional knowledge that we should have, so that no we avoid, we don't offend other devotees.
Yes, Prabhuji. That's why I wanted to get this thing clear. Like as you mentioned, the authoritative person, yeah, if it, let it be our spiritual master or our Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, whatever they say it for our good. So that we won't get hurt. Obviously, when we understand the Guru term, Prabhuji, what I
Yes,
meant was like our senior devotees, other
I
than
got,
them.
I got
Yeah,
Mataji.
but in return, if I'm thinking that way, that's I just wanted to know,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
you
Yeah,
should not think.
got
See,
it.
that's what ideally what is expected when you become pure. As I mentioned earlier, right? We should
Yeah.
see anything that happens to a pure devotee. He will think that everything is Lord's plan, because
Yes.
because they are completely surrendered to Krishna, right? They're fully depending on Krishna. So in that case, anything that comes in their life is because of the Lord's plan. Lord is planning something for the devotee. So how does the Lord instruct you something? So let's say the Lord wants you to become more tolerant. How can the Lord do? So he may make another devotee chastise you, right? He may not be a Shiksha Guru. He may be like equal to you, or no, like maybe similar level, or it can be less also. But if that person chastised, then the Lord actually will teach you a lesson out of it. So a pure devotee, or like devotee who is trying to become purified, he will always think that anything that is happening, no Lord, without cannot happen without his Lord knowledge, and no everything is a lesson for me. Lord is want to teach me something. That's why this situation has come. Like that they will think. But actually, that situation is not here for us. No, that is for a pure devotee. But I think we should understand that this is what actually the ideal expected behavior. So that at some point of time we can aim for that. Because in today's case, it is maybe we are not fully surrendered to Krishna, right? It's a long way to go. Because in actual surrender, there are 6 different aspects of Sharanagati which is mentioned. Like for example, thinking that the Lord is my protector, He is my guardian, then I am fully depending on the Lord, right? I don't remember actually what are those. Go up through three varnam tava. Basically, there are 6 aspects actually. Like that, the Lord is my protector, and then Rekshishyati Vishwaso, right? like the strong belief that whatever happens, Krishna will protect me, right? And then the complete surrender, completely depending on the Lord. No, not making any endeavor on from our side, no, for our sustenance or anything. Like that, there are different aspects for a completely surrendered pure devotee. So that is a very advanced stage. So if you completely surrender to Krishna, then He will fully take care of your life. But we are not in the stage, no, we are not fully surrendered because we still try to do our things, whatever we like. We are attached to material things, so we are not fully surrendered to Krishna. So in our case, the Lord may not be completely involved in our life. He may not know me. He may not be directly doing things in our life. But a pure devotee, the Lord directly takes care of his control of his life completely. So if you allow the Lord to take control of your life, then He will take control. But for that, we should be completely surrendered. No, we should tell to the Lord that I don't have any material desire. I don't have any desire, no, than to serve you. No, please completely take control of your life. If you can pray like that, then actually the Lord will take care. But we don't. We are not ready to pray like that. So we are not ready to pray like that. No, so that is my problem. Actually. So some point of time we will become completely purified and we'll surrender, right? So till that time, the Lord may not directly, create instances in our life. So, but as we progress, no, it'll happen. That's what actually. Is it clear? I'm not sure whether I'm able to
Yes,
express.
Prabhuji, sure.
Okay.
Very clear, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
So see, though we are not able to follow everything, but we should also know what is the ideal behavior, right? The ideal behavior is for us to understand and to aim for that some point of time, right? So today we are not able to follow that, but we have to understand this is what is actually expected from me. Today I'm here, but I should somehow plan in such a way that no, some point of time I will reach that point, right? So that is why we should know many things that we may not be able to immediately apply in our life, but actually we should keep remembering them that as and when we progress, we should start applying them. No, many things may not be possible today, right? So because it's not very easy, right, to completely become changed person in one day. It takes a long time, very long time. People are practicing, so many years, like 50 years, 60 years, still they are not able to, completely give up all these material attachments. So it is very difficult. So but we should always know what is the ideal expectation, ideal standard, and then we should know, keeping that in mind, like it's just like, no, having, we should have a proper direction, right? So let's say you are sailing in the ship in the ocean. If you don't have any idea what is it, what is expected, what is the destination, where to go, then actually you will never reach a destination. So it is, these are kind of a light, what do you call that, mm, they have something called like a searchlight, how is it called, in the shore there will be some light, right, which will guide the
Uh,
sailors.
yes, yes. The tower,
Yeah,
it's in
a
the
tower,
tower. I
something like
don't
that.
know.
So
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, there's some word actually, one is searchlight they call it, but there's some other word actually, right, word is different. So these are like beacons or whatever you can call, right? So these are actually our guiding lamps or something like that, guiding stars. So we should know all this. What is the sadachar? What is the, ideal behavior expected from us? So that we know where we stand today. And it is not that no, tomorrow we can, start doing all these things. That may not be possible. We should always keep remembering that okay, this is the standard expected, but I am not able to do now. No, but I can pray and then make progress. No, make endeavor continuously so that we can, someday actually reach that particular standard. But it is not easy at all.
Yeah, true, Prabhuji. Very
But I
true.
think these are very important. See, today's topic is extremely important topic actually. So I would recommend everybody, you can read again or take a printout of this if possible, and read it again and again, because this is very very important actually. These topics. These are two fundamental, our biggest obstacles we can say in spiritual life. That attachments, and second is that offense to Vaishnavas. Okay, all these things have different levels as we discussed. Attachments are all, gross level, subtle level. Offense to Vaishnavas, right? The offenses are different categories, right? The small offenses you can commit, and then offending a pure devotee, that actually is extremely dangerous. So mad elephant offense is completely destroyed devotional creeper. Okay, any other points or questions?
Last
Chitramadi, I think,
para is there, Prabhuji.
yeah. Chitramadi, we lost you for some time. Everything is fine.
Prabhuji, I lost myself. The power cut, Prabhuji here. Lots of them. They're doing maintenance. So for the next 15-20 days, it's going to be like this, off and on, off and on.
Okay. So you join from the computer, laptop?
Laptop, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. Yes, Mataji. Okay, good. So, as far as the points are concerned, everything is covered, I guess, right? What you have noted down here. Anything is left in this? Okay, last
Body
paragraph we can check.
concept of life, Prabhuji. Our
Uh,
primary aspect has to be Krishna consciousness.
yeah, okay. That can you explain then, Mataji?
Prabhuji, here Rupa Goswami like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained to Rupa Goswami about the pure devotional service, Prabhuji, where the pure devotional service should be rendered to Krishna without any desire of getting something in return, Prabhuji. So it has to be purely worked or purely worshipped. Or we have to purely worship Krishna and no, not any demigods or any other form of Krishna. And here they also mentioned that other than being free from contamination and other things, we should be able to know ourselves that we are the soul, not the body, and not accepting any bodily demands, Prabhuji, or we shouldn't work towards our bodily demands. And then we as you asked the question of the body's designation, thinking that we are a mother or wife or so and so, we always have to think we are the soul and we have to reach back to Krishna to do the service. Once we understand that thing, the self realization and our relationship to the Lord, that we are dasanu dasanu dasa, eternal servant of the servant of the servant. When we get to realize all these things and identify Lord Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, then we will be able to literally engage into the pure devotional service where we won't desire for anything in exchange, not even as we saw, no, liberation and other things, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. So, everybody's understood it. Any questions, other devotees? So, here actually there are some summarizing this aspect. So, there are different obstacles, right? We discussed in progress of devotional level. So, basically, there are four purusharthas, right? What are the four purusharthas? Everybody knows.
Purushartha, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah, dharma, artha, moksha,
Kama.
kama.
Yeah. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So, these are actually for the normal people who are pious or no, all following the Vedic fold. So, these are the most important things for them. Okay. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So, these are the purusharthas. Means the most important things in life, right? So generally, we discussed many times this topic. Some people may have doubt, no, why Vedas talk about the Purusharthas more, because that is what actually the conversation between Vyasadeva and Narad Muni, right? When after Vyasadeva wrote all the Vedic scriptures, he was feeling very unhappy, not satisfied, and then Narad Muni, comes to ask him, no, why are you unhappy? And then in this conversation, Narad Muni actually tells Vyasadeva that you actually have misled the people because you give more importance to this purushartha, no, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Because when you have the Vedic scriptures, many part of the Vedic scriptures, there are different sections like karma kanda, upasana kanda, no, jnana kanda, like that. So, but actually the importance, the topmost knowledge of pure devotional service is not explained much by Vyasdev in the beginning, right? He was talking about how can we, become prosperous, how can we attain dharma. So, following religious principles, right? This is dharma, path of dharma. Following, not actually giving up the part of dharma, sticking, strictly to dharma path. So this is actually, from a material perspective, it may be important. That person will be considered as very important, but actually from a spiritual perspective, it doesn't have much value, right? So these people may get a very higher, no, they may take birth in higher planetary systems, etc. They may have benefit. Like then artha is actually accumulating wealth, kama, sense gratification, and moksha, ultimate actually topmost is the purushartha is the liberation, getting free from cycle of birth and death. Okay, so that is why people are generally misled actually, by they think that okay, this is what is ultimately important, and then they try endeavor for that. So, but actually, pure devotional service is beyond. See, these four things are part of the material world. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It's just like we have sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, right? These are actually a part of the material creation. And then, as long as you are even if you are in the mode of goodness, also you are still under the control of the material energy, right? And somebody is transcendental. He is above the three modes. No? That's what Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. So, Krishna is saying to Arjuna that Vedas is talking about the three modes. No, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Vedas are the Vishaya of Veda is the three gunas. Right? Nistraigunya Arjuna. No, come rise about the three modes. So similarly, in this case also, no, the Purusharthas actually are meant for the normal people who want to prosper in the material world. But actually, for somebody who's transcendental, no, he has to look for the Panchama Purushartha. Is actually Krishna Prema or no, pure love of God actually, right? Or going back to spiritual world or Krishna. So this is the Panchama Purushartha. So somebody who is aspiring to become a pure devotee of the Lord, for him actually, what is pure devotional service? Pure devotional service is without any motive. No, uh, Anyavilashida shunyam, dana karma dhyanavrutam, anukulena krishnanushilanam bhaktivrutama. So this sloga we have to remember and by heart. It's very important actually. So what is pure devotional service? Anyavilashida shunyam. No, we don't have any other desire. Right? Whether it is be a dharma, artha, kama, moksha, nothing. Anyavilashida shunyam. Jnana karma dhyana. So jnana and karma is given actually, but it is not complete. Jnana karma adi means everything is included actually. Jnana karma. So some people think that karma yoga is everything. I am a karma yogi, and then I can become best. And jnana yogi, jnana. So all these people are selfish, right? Only a pure devotee is completely selfless. So selfless actually means that no, his only desire is to serve Krishna, no, only to love the Lord, Supreme Lord. So that person is selfless. Other people, like so-called nanis, the nanis actually are interested. No, they are because they are intellectual people. They want to satisfy their intellectual. So there are a lot of people who are very much interested in reading books. And they may be very intellectually oriented. They read all the books. They keep on reading again and so many books, and then very happy wherever they go. They'll buy. We go to a shop. They'll buy so many books at the same time. No, they keep on ordering books. So basically, what is happening here is that they have some attachment to reading, right? And then it is satisfying, giving some pleasure to their mind because they are seeking the path of knowledge, which actually is a higher no level compared to a karma yogi. It Nani is much better actually because he's in the mental platform. A karma yogi is not is actually the basic thing, and Nana yogi. So, but Nana yogis are not pure devotees because they have some selfish motives and desires. Right? They are not trying to serve the Lord or please the Lord. So that is why Nana yogi is not the ideal person, right? Then we have the other yogi, Ashtanga yogi is there. Even actually he is also has some desire. He wants some mystic powers, Ashtasiddhis, like Anima, Mahima, Lagima, Prapti, like that. Isha, Vidya, like that. There are 8 Ashtasiddhis. So they have also some desire to satisfy themselves, right? And even the desire, even the yogi who want to merge with the Brahman, they are also not want. They don't also. They are also trying to avoid serving Krishna, right? Because the constitutional position of living entity is to serve Krishna, and as long as the living entity tries to avoid serving the Lord, then actually he is not a he's not a pure devotee because he is doing something else actually. Right? So that is the point we have to understand here, right? No desire actually, no desire other than to desire serving the Lord, right? And then there is actually there's another shloka in Bhagavatam which say what is that actually? This is basically whether you are artha, whether you are having desire even with desire or without desire. What is the slogan? Akama sarvakama va moksha kama udarati tivrena bhakti yogena yajade parampuman. Basically, what it says that so this is for see when we are trying to understand. For example, we have been attending the session for quite some time, right? We have reached, I don't know what is the lesson now. Number, yeah, 52 weeks we have
52.
passed that. Actually, we started even before that, this session, but I think nobody is now left in that particular group. So we started with Manjari, 3 months we did, and then we moved to this 52 weeks. So now we have some idea, right? So for us, actually, we have to understand that pure devotional service means without any desires, right? But actually, when you are preaching to other people, right, who are neophytes or just starting, for them, actually, if you tell like this, no, they will not even come. Actually, they will first day only they will stop coming. So we have to tell them what actually Bhagavatam also tells that whether you are without desires or whether you are with desire, even if you have desire for sense gratification or desire for liberation, everybody can still better worship Krishna only rather than worshipping demigods. Because according to Vedic scriptures, it is mentioned the people who are less intelligent, right? They worship demigods because they get immediate results. But even if somebody is having material desires, they should also worship Vishnu or Krishna, right? Because he can fulfill everything because all other demigods also fulfill the desires of the devotee because the power which comes from the Supreme Lord, right? So even if you have these material desires like for nana karma artha whatever it is, right? Or if you don't have any material desires, everybody should worship Krishna. That is the point, right? So the point is that it's better to guide people who are in the beginning stage. You can tell them temporarily that no, it is not wrong actually that Krishna can fulfill everything, right? So even material desires can fulfill. So it is better to worship Krishna even if you have desires. That is the point actually. But then Krishna will take care. As the devotee, even if you are attached, that's what the 4 type of people come to Krishna, right? What is that? Artho Artharthi
Yes.
Nani. Yeah. Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam, right? What is that? Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam. That are Artho Artharthi Nani, or one more is there. What is that?
Jignasu.
Jitnasu, right? Artho Artharthi. Yeah. So the 4 kind of people are coming. So they are all materialistic people, right? But Krishna actually accepts everybody. And as the devotee make progress in their life under the guidance of a spiritual master, then gradually the Lord will actually know how to make him detached from the material things. But it is always better to worship Krishna, right? Whether you have desires or not having desires. That is the point actually. So but yeah, okay, then there is no, that is actually this in the Sharanagati I mentioned, right? Rakshishya Vishwa. So in that one is actually Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulasya Vivarjanam. Right. So basically a pure devotee will accept everything that is favorable for Krishna consciousness and he will reject everything which is not favorable. That is also a quality of the, so every activity or every decision that a pure devotee makes, no, he will, his criteria of decision making is, okay, whether this is going to help me in making progress in Krishna consciousness. If it is yes, then I will do. If it is no, then I will not do. So that is how he takes decision. For him, it is very easy, no, not very complicated, not much to think about it. So no, somebody is calling for a party, and it's very easy to decide, right, whether it's going to help. If you think that, okay, no, I'll make devotees there, then if you are genuinely thinking like that, it's okay. But it should not be. You should not cheat ourselves, thinking that, okay, just cheat yourself. We'll say I'll go to party and make devotee, but you will not do anything there. Just as an excuse. That is an excuse. But actually, yeah. So basically, he'll always think that, how, what is favorable for me to make progress in Krishna consciousness. So that actually is that is things I will do, and whatever actually is determined or unfavorable for my Krishna consciousness, I actually will avoid those activities. So that is how a devotee actually thinks. Okay, then other bodily designation part, I think all of us know. No? We discussed for long from the beginning. We understand that, no, all these designations are all temporary. Thinking that I am male, I am female, like whatever, so many different designations, right? So all these are temporary identification. The soul actually is neither anything. Soul is actually not whatever the body is, right? The soul actually is pure, and then it's having a form of Sachidananda. Okay, so that is what actually it is. The sense.
Yeah,
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Babuji. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, can you tell me the sloka one more again? Anya Bhilasha. What is the sloka number?
Anyabhilashida shunyam gnana karmadhyanavrutam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. It is actually from Nectar of Instruction, I think, or Nectar of Instruction or Nectar of Devotion.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought it is in Bhagavad Gita. Okay.
No, no,
Anya
I'll search.
Charitamrita, Prabhuji.
Chetan Chari. Okay.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it is quoted, but I think it is part of. I will check it out. Anyabhilashida gnana karmadi. It's part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, so Prabhupada might have quoted that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So
Yes, it is
Rupa
Bhakti
Goswami is written.
Rasamrita Sindhu, Prabhuji, 1.1.11.
Yeah, here it is. Anyabhilashida shunyam gnana karmadhyanavrutam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. Got it, Prabhu? Should I put the link? I'll put the link in the chat.
Prabhuji, we are reading it in Bhagavad Gita class 330. Chetan, Prabhuji.
He's reading.
Yeah, Prabhuji, we are reading it every day.
Every day you read the same sloka?
We have a couple of slogas to be by hearted, Prabhuji, so we keep reading it.
Okay.
We have
I
set
think
of slogas, Prabhuji.
okay. So Shil Prabhu wanted to know. So Prabhu, yeah, put in the chat. Are you there, Sushil Prabhu? I'm not able to hear. Okay, let's move on. So devotees, any
Prabhuji,
if there, yes.
I have one question, Prabhuji. It all about this one, Prabhuji. That we need to come above the three modes of material nature,
Mm.
and Lord also says that means this means means Prakriti only. We are doing the work means Ahankara Moda means Ahankara Moda that we believe that we are
Prakriti
doing the work.
kriyamani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. That is the sloka
Yes,
you're mentioning.
Prabhuji. So
Mm.
yes, Prabhuji. So and even this means Lord means with Lord order only all the activities will be carried out. Lord says means Prakriti Adhyaksha means with this
Adhyasha
order on.
Prakriti Swaril Saracharam.
Yes, Prabhuji. So how to means by order only the three modes of uh, three guna means will carry out the all the works. So and Lord is also saying that you need to come above the three modes of material nature. become a transcendental. So means it will be like Lord is ordering the three modes to perform the duty, and again is telling us to come out of these three modes of material nature. So uh,
Yes,
I
you got a point.
yes,
Yeah.
so
Prabhu. See,
yeah,
basically,
so,
you are feeling there is a contradiction, right? So, see, basically, this is because of the context from which you are looking, right? This is a good example is that the prison, right? So, the prison actually is working as per the government's order, right? The government has set up the prison, and there are rules of the land. If you violate the rules of law, then you will go to the prison, right? But at the same time, no, in the prison also, you will send people to reform them, right? So, for example, this particular statement, when I say that everything is working under my order, Maya Adhyakshana Prakriti, Suyadeta Sarajanam, he's telling to the prisoners in the prison house, no, government is telling and that, okay, all these rules I have set up actually, everything is working under my guidance. No, I'm giving the money, I'm giving all these rules, all these people are, I'm paid by salary by me, I set up the place, I'm giving food, everything is acting under my superintendence. This is what actually the first part, the one context number one. No, when you're looking from that perspective of a prisoner, right? So this is one. So second part is that when actually Lord is going to the prison and saying that no, this is not the place you have to reform, no, this is not your permanent place, no, you have to rise above all these conditions. There are very basic conditions in the prison, right? No, you don't have freedom, you are struggling here. Now he's coming and preaching to the prisoners that no, you come out of the jail. So that is the second part where Krishna is saying that no, like Traigunya Vishaya Vera, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. No, so basically there is no contradiction, right? We have to just understand what is the context of the two situations. Is that clear?
it is something like breaking the rules, probably of this means the Lord. He has told how to live. Means like he has created the means four kinds of this one probably like Brahmana Sudra and like this one and
Hmm.
accordingly. So now the Lord is saying that we need to means come out of this all this material thing uh, uh, and surrender
Yes.
to yes, probably. So
Yes.
uh,
That's all we are discussing all the time, na? So that's what I just told some time back about Vyasdev, right? When Vyasdev wrote the Vedic scriptures, he was not satisfied because he has not glorified the Lord. The topmost information he has not given. See, there are majority of people who are actually, who are actually living in the material world. They are actually trying to enjoy the material energy. But what is the highest path actually is the devotional service by which actually we can go back to Krishna. So people who are not ready to go back to Krishna, so the material world is rules and regulations are there. Because Krishna is saying Chadur Varnyam Maya system Gunakarma Vibhagasa, right? He's saying that the four Varnas I have created, Chadur Varnyam, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everything. So this is for the people who want to continue in the material world, right? For them, actually, they can look like that. Okay, they can follow the rules and Vedic scriptures. They can go to higher planets sometime. They can come down to hellish planets. They can keep rotating in this material world. These are the basic rules who want to continue in the material world. Now, it depends on what you want to do. Whether you want to continue here or you want to go back to Krishna. So people who are continuing, he's saying that no, this Trigunya Vishaya Vera, this Trigunya Bhavarjuna. So this is the topmost knowledge, the highest knowledge, which actually very few people are ready to take. No, as we discussed many times, when there is a cheap sale, right? All people will go there. No footpath, no, like in the Sunday market. So many people are crowding that place because it is cheap. Everybody want to go and buy it. But actually, there are diamonds are sold. There is no queue because only few people can afford to buy it. That is the most precious thing. But people should have already the money and the power to buy it. So similarly, the path of spiritual path, is a very rarely taken path. Like it's a very rare path. Only few people are aspiring because it is not, understand that you are qualified, you cannot take that path. So people who want to go back to spiritual world, the Lord actually has given the highest information, which is not easily available to everybody, right? So by our gradual progression, by becoming purifying, actually by fortune, somebody, that's what, no, Brahmanda Brahmide Gono Jiva Gono Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Kripa Paya Bhakti Latha Bij. Rarely a most fortunate person get a spiritual knowledge, but rest all the people are thinking that no, like because see, like this material world is created, we can't do much of anything, we let us enjoy here. So these are two different perspectives, Prabhu. They are not contradictory. So it depends on what is the context, what is your intention, then accordingly it's very clear. Both are different things.
yes, Prabhuji, I got this is clear, Prabhuji. One more thing, Prabhuji, one clarification, Prabhuji. Like you are telling about this means demigod, right? Means he'll fulfill your desires. But Lord says that means it is actually temporary. Whatever the demigods gives, it is temporary. All the things which is given by means all of the desires it is given, it is by me only.
Hmm.
So that is correct, Mahaprabhuji. Or
Yes,
yeah.
that is correct, Prabhu. In that, any doubt or something is there? Confusion?
Yes, Prabhuji, you were telling that demigods, it means you can, you are telling about that preaching, no, Prabhuji. If you go to the preaching,
Hmm.
you told that you can worship the demigod also, you can worship the Krishna also. So I felt that means one of the demigod means people will ask that I can also worship the demigod. Means, that God will means that demigod will going to give me the auto the material desires is there, and I will fulfill that. So why should
Hmm.
I worship the Krishna? So uh, that part I this is means like Lord only told me. So means all the desires what was given by the demigod, it is temporary. So I got the answer.
You got the answer? Okay. I did not get the answer, but if you got, then it's fine. I did not fully understand the question actually exactly. So, yeah. So
The
what you
question.
told was, see, what you told is that so Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, no, that actually the demigods, people who are worshipping demigod, they are less intelligent, right? Hridajnana. People who are less intelligent, they worship demigods because the results given by demigods are temporary, but they can quickly give you results. And then Krishna also says that whoever is worshipping demigod, they are actually indirectly worshipping me, right? But in an avidhipurvakam, right? Not in the right way. And then all the power of demigods is coming from the Supreme Lord, and demigods are temporary, right? All these things we know already. Now, actually, for us, when we are discussing, I told now we have reached so much 52 chapter we have progressed. So, see, the understanding of the same spiritual truth, right, can be different from different perspective. Like just like the sun can be perceived in different way, right? For different people can see sun in different ways, like a sunlight, sun globe, etc. Similarly, devotion service, the understanding is, like just like you see a forest from far, the forest will just appear as a green patch of place. But as we go nearer to the forest, no, you start seeing that there are more things, right? There are trees are there, or there are animals are there. So like that, the more and more deep you go, the more understanding. Similarly, spiritual life also, spiritual knowledge also is like that. In the before, so now we can understand more topics, right? Because we have been reading so many things, and now understanding by mercy of the acharyas, we have understood more things. So we are talking little higher topics, where actually, we are telling that only Krishna has to be worshipped, right? That's what actually today we discuss. But if you tell to a new person who doesn't have any idea about spirituality, if you tell that directly, he may not, everybody may not be able to see. Already, if they are worshipping Krishna, they will accept. But otherwise, if somebody is worshipping Lord Shiva for many many years, if you tell them directly, they will not accept it actually, and then you will lose that chance. So we have to. That's why the preaching is, has to be also some tact is required, and time, place, circumstances is important. We should never change the message of the Lord, but actually we don't have to give everything in day one, right? So we can slowly say. Krishna also says in, we just told, right? Bhagavatam says that whether actually with desires or without desires, it's always better to worship Krishna, like we discussed some time back. So what we can tell slowly actually. If we can initially we may say that person that no, it's fine. Lord Shiva is also Vaishnava, Vaishnava Namada Shambhu, or even say demigods also, no, or actually servants. If you don't want to say servant, you can tell that no, demigods also get power from Krishna, like that. So initially we cannot ask them to leave everything on day one, no, and then take something else. So we can ask them to keep what they have, but just add Krishna also, like that. Actually, we have to approach. So we say, okay, you worship demigod, no problem, but also please worship Krishna, because Krishna is also very powerful. Like that we can initially start slowly, and then gradually, once you start worshipping Krishna, they start chanting the holy names, then automatically they'll get the intelligence. Lord will provide intelligence by which, gradually they'll understand the things slowly. But based on the situation, somebody is already a believer of Krishna, is worshipping Krishna, we can tell them directly. But somebody, is not ready to, we should gauge the person. If he is not ready yet, then we should put it in a different way. So that's how we should handle the situation. So we have to pray to the Lord, because we are only an instrument, right? We have to pray to Krishna, like Guru, Prabhupada, and Parampara, to give us intelligence by which we can preach, right? So they will give us the right intelligence how to deal with the different kind of people who are approaching us, right? So accordingly, we should act. Is that fine, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is.
I think we are all, everybody is left. So okay, Chaitan Prabhu is the Chitra Mataji sir, Madhavi Mataji sir. Okay, let us complete actually. Okay, today we took more time. So I will read Namamrita to save time. Okay. Guru Aparada is the most grievous offense against the holy name. While describing the system of protection for the creeper of devotional service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has especially stressed the protection from offenses unto the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Such offenses are called Vaishnava Aparad. Aparadas means offense. If one commits Vaishnava Aparad, all of the progress in devotional service, if a Vaishnava is advancement, is all spoiled. Therefore, one should be very careful about committing offenses at the feet of Vaishnava. The most grievous type of Vaishnava Aparad is called Guru Aparad, which refers to offenses at the lotus feet of spiritual master. In the chanting of the holy name, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Guru Aparada is considered the most grievous offense. Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, just 1 second.
I think Madhvi Mataji has joined.
Madhivanaji, she was there already. Yeah. So what we'll do is that we'll finish the session. I'll just read the preaching essence and then we'll chant. Okay. Preaching essence. The devotee is fully protected by following Chaitanya's orders. If one simply follows the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu under the guidance of his representative and chant the Hare Krishna mantra, teaching everyone as far as possible the same principle, the contamination of the materialistic way of life will not even touch him. It does not matter whether one lives in a holy place like Vrindavana, Navadvip, or Jagannath Puri, or in the midst of European cities where the materialistic way of life is very prominent. If a devotee follows the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he lives in the company of Lord. Wherever he lives, he converts that place into Vrindavana or Navadvipa. This means that materialism cannot touch him. That is the secret of success of one's advancing in Krishna consciousness. So this is a very, very profound statement by Srila Prabhupada, and he is writing from his own experience, right? He actually went single-handedly to the Western countries, right? And then the place was completely surcharged with materialistic propensities, and he was protected all the way, right? Because actually he has faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is very important point for all of us to realize that when, because it is very difficult to test the to pass the test of Maya, because Maya's allurement is very, very strong. There are so many ways Maya which actually try to defeat us. So by our own endeavor it's not possible. We have seen that, no, like Maya is very powerful, right? What is that? There's a shloka, no, Mama Maya Durataya, right? So Maya is difficult to overcome. But actually what is mentioned here is that there is one benediction, or no, or what do you call it, one benediction from, 1 second. Yes. So what I was discussing, yeah. So there is benediction from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that actually whoever is a preacher, right? A preacher is always protected by the mercy of the Lord. So he will not fall into the environment. So as long as he is sincerely preaching, even though he may be otherwise not a very advanced devotee, he may not have attained the purity, but actually as long as the devotee is preaching, he will have protection from the Lord. He will not fall to the allurement of Maya. So that is one important point we have to understand here. Okay. So any questions of the devotees? We'll chant otherwise. One round together.
Okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Somebody want to lead the chanting? Anybody can lead? Or should I chant?
You chant, Prabhuji.
Okay. I think we are a little late today. Okay, well, let me stop the recording first.